Welcome to Gimp. This is going to be the absolute basic guide for beginners. So to start off, canvas area. This is where all your work will end up going. Easily create a new file. You can have templates that are already set up, or you can just go custom make, choosing pixels, which is what most designers work in, or other measurements. So let's set up a canvas. As you can see, this has created a layer. You can build up layers, have as many as you want, moving about, and different layer modes. This can affect the entirety of the design. You've got your brushes, all sorts of different sizes and shapes. You can do no end of stuff with them, and you can even add more brushes, but that will be for later. You've got basic patterns, which if you're into graphic design of tag making, you don't tend to use too much. And your gradients, something you will be using a lot of. Up here, as I say, you've got your layers, and you've got your channels, which is a bit more complex, and paths, which is used with the path tool, and that's your history button. Over on this toolbox, you've got your rectangular select tool, create something like that, which you can then adjust the selection before you do anything with it. You've got circular select tool, which once again you can change anything that you want on it. You've got a free select tool, which is okay. Fuzzy select tool, so basically they are all your selection tools, along with the colour select tool. That is also another very useful one to have. You've got the scissors select, which is alright, but it's not the greatest in the world. Foreground select tool, the paths tool, which is very useful when you get into your designing, allowing you to create all sorts of shapes by dragging the line and then moving the nodes about. For example, creating a cloud. This is using just Control and click to add more closed loops. Maybe something like that, which you could then go and stroke it. Let's get something like that. The eyedropper tool is fairly useful. It allows you to select a colour and it automatically puts it up into your foreground box, so you can then use that colour. Zoom tool allows you to zoom in on a part of the piece, like so. Take it back to 100%. The measurement tool, which you don't tend to need to use too much. The move tool, which you will end up using a hell of a lot. So it allows you to move the whole image out, or whatever layer it happens to be on at the time. Then got your alignment tool, the crop tool, which is also very useful. For example, you just want to crop it down to that bit. You can just adjust that like you would with the select tools, and then just press enter and you cropped it. You've got your rotate tool, such as that. scale, perspective, two types of perspective, the flip tool, so we could do flipping this horizontally and even vertically. You've got your text tool, for which you can put in things like that. You can change the font on it. You can change colours, all sorts. You've got your fill bucket. You could do something like that. You've got the gradient tool, another very useful one to have. So if we were to create a new layer, black to white on it, drag it out, and you can do that. Pencil tool for little drawings and that you want to do. Paintbrush tool, also useful. Eraser, well, that's self-explanatory. The airbrush tool, same as like your MS Paint and everything else, just creates a sort of sprayed effect to it. Then clone tools, healing tools, another one. Blur tool, which is quite useful when you're dealing with sort of cutouts and that and you want them to blur to help blend it. Smudge tool, also very useful. And the dodge and burn tool, useful for setting lighting and that to help you with depth. Now to take a look at the rest of it. Under File, you've got your new, you've got Creates, which is preset stuff that you can use. Open, so you can open the image file. You can open the image file as a layer. Open it from a location, from online. You can open recent ones. Save as usual. Prints and everything else. Edit, you've got your undos, your redos. You can get your undo history up. All your usuals there. Including your stroke path, which you can use when using the path tool. Select. You've got all your ones here, so if you created a path, you can select from the path, for example. You can change that selection, so you can say shrink. Say shrink by how much. And it'll do that. Change your viewing. Show different stuff like a layer boundary. Then you've got image parts. So some of these tools that you've got here are also can be found here. Here you can alter the canvas size if you need to. Scaling the image and other cropping features. This is the nifty part. This is what Gimp and Photoshop are all about, layers. Without layers, they would not function as they do now. Creating a new layer allows you to add anything you want onto it. For example, there you go. New layer. It does not affect any other layer at all. You can have it affect if you want. For example, if we were to put on soft light, you don't see it on the white, but you get to see it around this bit. Here you can also create other sections to it. Once again, scaling the layer, duplicating the layer, so you can then have two of them about, or more. Then we can get on to colours. It always depends on what you have as to what the colour would work well with. But if we were to open something else, let's find an image that we can use. something like this. So here we could go duplicate the layer. We can then change our colours. So we have blue, yellow, complementary colours, work very well together. We can go in the colours, you can go map, and then you form a gradient map, which alters the colour of it automatically. This you can then change so it gives different effects, colouring it in certain ways. So you produce very different effects. With that you can change colour balance, etc. So feel free to experiment with everything. Tools, this is another part, same as your toolbox basically. It's got everything else here. Filters, here you can do sort of mask blur, sharpening, light and shadow effects. Pretty much, they're useful sometimes, but it all depends on what you're creating. Here, if you want more dialogue dots to come up, like on your right hand side, over here, then you can just click on them and move them into place. There's also the help context on here, so you can always go onto the online manual if you want to, including basic concepts, create open save files, all the basics really. One tip when saving work, as you can see this has got a transparent background, when I'm going to save it, always choose the correct file type. If you want to keep a transparent background, JPEGs will not work. They don't like it. They'll put a white background in instead. They're also not the greatest of quality. If you want good quality and you want a transparent background, or anything else for that matter, PNG files are the best types you can have. You can always set it up here, choosing your type. One thing I would suggest though, when you create a piece of work, save it with two different file types. One file type will be the Gimp XCF image. So you sometimes you have to change up here as well. This means that you can always go back and edit the layers basically as you have been working on at any time once you've saved it. If you're saving it as a PNG, that won't happen. This means that this is the finished product. It flattens all the layers down into one without destructing it basically. Very useful, high quality as I said. GIF type, although they do take transparent layers, they're not still not as good a quality as a PNG file, although they can be used to save animations with, but that's a bit more complicated. So, there's the basics to Gimp. Simple, easy to use. Hope you have fun experimenting.